Hey folks, thanks so much for checking into the Neutral Zone Hotel. We are an unapologetically left-leaning podcast that explores hockey at its best and worst. I'm Benjamin, my pronouns are he, him, and I am a Ottawa Charge and Montreal Canadiens fan out of Ottawa, Ontario, and I'm thrilled you've chosen to stay with us at the Neutral Zone Hotel. Here to ensure you have a great stay is one of my colleagues, my good buddy SJ.
Hey everyone, I am SJ. My pronouns are they, them, and I am a Seattle Kraken, PWHL Seattle, and Everett Silvertips fan. And since they are doing well in the playoffs, I have bandwagoned the Seattle Mariners. I am strictly a good times only baseball fan, and the times are good. So, yeah, good to be here today.
I've watched the John Boy's history of the Seattle Mariners. I know that Mariners' time being good is fairly rare.
Yeah, it saved me a lot of trouble in that sense. I so rarely have to pay any attention at all.
So, SJ, we are mortal enemies tonight.
That's true.
So, currently, the Montreal Canadiens are beating the Seattle Kraken 1-0 in Montreal's home opener.
The game just started. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I just said they're beating. They have not defeated them. They are winning the current contest.
Yes. Also, the Seattle Kraken are undefeated this season.
Yes, mostly Joey Decord posting a sub 1 GAA so far.
That's right.
Probably going to go up after this. Well, it has to go up after this game now. That's how averages work.
We'll see what happens. Like they're probably not going to have a undefeated record for the season, unfortunately. I
don't think so. If the Montreal Canadiens couldn't do it in the 70s, they probably can't. The Kraken probably can't do it this year. So, well, let's get into talking about the Montreal Canadiens because they are the big newsmakers of the day. So the first piece of big news is Lane Hutson has signed his extension. It was a 8-year deal at $8.85 million per year. What do you think about that, SJ?
I think that once again, very young players are doing themselves a long-term financial disservice by signing 8-year contracts. I think this would have been a really great deal if he was, if it was a 5-year deal or a 4-year deal. But I think it makes a lot of sense. He had no leverage. He wasn't even offer sheet eligible. He's, could not ARB eligible. He has only had 1 year in the league. So, yeah, I mean, I think for the not a lot of track record that he has, I think it is a deal very much based on potential. He's now a multimillionaire. He's probably set for life. And I can't blame him for wanting to do that. I'm just a little bit confused why players continue to sign these 8-year deals when they are not 30, but instead, what is he, 22, 21?
Yeah, he's pretty young. I think it comes down to this is a player who believes in what's being built and wants to stay with his friends.
Yeah, but you can do that by signing a 5-year deal.
Mm-hmm. I agree, and I'm surprised it is the full 8-year term. The what Arpon has reported is that the deal got done when Hutson personally got involved and said what he wanted. So he's clearly leaving money on the table. I don't know if you've seen the Dom Lucian projection, but Lucian is saying that he may have left upwards of $6 to $7 million a year on the table at certain points of the contract.
Oof.
So that's obviously part of that is Dom's model really likes him.
Mm-hmm.
There's always the possibility he drops off this year and comes back down to earth a little bit. But I don't know. I agree. I think that players have the right to choose their own best interest, you know?
Yeah,
And
it is his decision at the end of the day, and that I understand him wanting to like say, hey, when he wasn't particularly involved in this negotiation, and his dad was like negotiating through the media a bit, and that was not a great look. I can understand things were getting hot, and I can understand him stepping in and saying like, actually, this is fine. This is what we're gonna do. But that's a lot of money to leave on the table.
There were definitely some shades of like the Marner negotiations, Paul Marner leaking things constantly to the media.
Mm-hmm.
And I get the sense. So the other thing that was interesting was they recorded, it was noted that he didn't talk to other people on the team about the deal. Nick Suzuki said he'd be available if he wanted someone to talk to, but he never took him up on it. So this is clearly a decision that he's made, which again, I think is really interesting. Because I do agree with you. He probably could have pushed for more money, or he could have pushed for shorter term. And he probably would have gotten one or the other. And when you look at the extension to Luke Hughes, who's the other big defender extension?
Jackson
Lacombe. Both of those guys have very high ceilings, but their ceilings nowhere as high as Lane Hutson's.
Yeah, it is hard to measure that when you're talking about and I did check here, a 21-year-old.
Yeah.
I think that we don't know what Lane Hutson's ceiling is. I don't think we know what Jackson Lacombe's ceiling is yet. One thing that they did do for Lane, and I think this was a very good move, is something that makes that 8-year term a little more palatable is that they massively front-loaded this contract with bonuses. So in this is not going to be a legal contract next year due to the bonus structure and the front-loading. And that does make things like a little bit more tasteful.
Yeah, Lane's getting most of his money up front, which will allow him to do whatever he wants with it. And probably, I would imagine he's got some good financial planning sorted out and is ready for a pretty strong future.
He's gonna get a couple years of an $11 million check during the summer. So I imagine that he has a nice place to put that.
Yeah. And the fact that it's an 8-year deal, and if you waver too long, I think you can sign 8-year deals until September of next year. But
something like that.
Getting to lock that in, I think, is valuable. I think there is something about a player getting their guaranteed contract for a long period of time locked in. There was such a long period of time in the NHL where you couldn't get those guaranteed contracts, and players got screwed because you would sign deals and you couldn't trust them to be fulfilled. So I think that's a big reason why agents push for this sort of stuff. They remember those years. And they say, get your money, get your guaranteed deal now. But there is definitely, like, it does sound like Lane prioritized wanting to stay in Montreal, which is fair. And Lane prioritized wanting to leave money on the table so that the management can continue to build a strong team around him.
I have a question for you. So right now, Noah Dobson is the highest paid player on the team in terms of AAV at 9.5. Right now, I'm wondering if that's 9.5 kind of represents a bit of an internal cap. But I'm also very curious what like the Demidov deal is going to look like, because if Demidov is what he looks like he might be, is he going to be willing to take a 9.5? Is he going to be willing to sign for 8 years?
Well, we don't know based on his personality yet, but
Yeah, we don't know him.
We don't know him that well, but based on the things I've heard, he does seem to be very much enjoying his time in Montreal and seems to be fitting in very well with the young team structure. They did have a kind of an informal cap, which was the Nick Suzuki deal, which is why Caulfield and Slafkovsky come in basically just a shade under each. Whether or not that situation will apply going forward, my guess is that if let's say Demidov wins the Calder, he puts up a 70-point season, 75-point season, something big.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any reason why the Habs wouldn't sign him for $10 million plus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder if he would. I wonder if they would say, "Hey, if you want $10 million, you have to sign for $7 million. It'll be $7 million at that point." When he's an RFA,
I believe he'll be eligible to sign an 8-year deal because it doesn't come into effect until September of next year. So he'll have a short period. Yeah, so he's eligible to sign an extension as of July 1st.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's true. Yeah, maybe he goes for 8. That's true.
Yeah, so maybe he locks in one of those last 8-year deals. Zach Bolduc also RFA this year coming up. Mm-hmm. He's had a really great start to the season, so we'll have to see how it pans out. But I'm guessing he's going to get locked in for a good period of time, 5 or 6 years at least. And then, yeah, like the Habs they have to re-sign Kirby Dach, which that'll depend on kind of his season. If they want to extend Mike Matheson for a few years, he's having a good year so far. These are decisions that can be made, but the point is the Habs next year have $28 million in cap space after signing Lane Hutson to a $8.85 million a year deal.
Does that take into account the rise in the cap next year?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
That's a projected cap space of $104 million in the 27-28 season, which is where Demidov will need his extension. They have $63 million in cap space available.
All right.
And they do have, through that period of time, they do have Suzuki, Caulfield, Slafkovsky, Evans, Dobson, Goulet signed, and Hutson signed. So the Habs are in a very strong financial position. They're in a very strong talent position. And I think that's why the news also broke today that Jeff Gorton and Kent Hughes were extended. Gorton was given a paper promotion to president of hockey operations from executive vice president of hockey operations. The Habs have never had a president of hockey operations before, which is, I think, the only reason they slow rolled the title. But both men get a 5-year extension, presumably get a nice raise.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It made a ton of sense to give them those extensions. And unlike NHL contracts, they can fire them and then it's just money and it's whatever for the Habs owners.
Yeah, the Habs are one of the have teams in the league, so
they are.
There is no they're probably going to sell enough Demidov jerseys this year to afford the Gorton Hughes raises, whatever they are.
I do wonder. I really wonder what they make though. Like it could be really significant money.
I would imagine they're making several $1 million a year each.
Yeah. Wow,
but coaches are making around, a coach on a good team are making around 5. I would imagine it's roughly the same amount for a GM.
I just have no idea. I have no basis of reference. Yeah. It's all magic money to me.
They could do other things. They could give them incentive bonuses for performance or for sales or gate level. There's all sorts of interesting options that are on the table that aren't there for players.
Yeah.
But
buy him a nice house.
I do think that when Gorton and Hughes took over, the Habs were in a pretty moribund space.
Oh, it was grim. I remember when they got hired. And I haven't been around that long.
No.
Yeah, they've really done an incredible job with the rebuild. It's kind of, I think that you can point And I think you can point at the Habs rebuild in these last 4 or 5 years as sort of a best practices use case for how to rebuild a hockey team in the NHL. I can't think of another franchise in the same time period that has done such a good job,
It's a
or at least
combination.
had the results.
It's a combination of having good enough talent already coming, with Suzuki and Caulfield especially being acquired by the previous regime. Decent drafting, especially at the medium level. Like obviously the Hutson draft pick is a steal, and we are going to see him get ranked very high up in redrafts for the rest of his career.
Mm-hmm.
Smart asset management in terms of moving players for picks, taking on the right contracts to get picks, rehabilitating players, moving them on for additional picks, and just getting buy-in from the team to take under-market deals.
Yeah.
And when you combine all that together, you get a team that has some incredibly good players signed, potentially a superstar or two in the form of Hutson and Demidov, possibly a all-world goaltender coming up in terms of Jacob Fowler. And if those guys don't pan out, you've got $68 million to fix your issues in 2 years. That's a really, really good basis for a hockey team that's just going to be successful for a long time. So I think they deserve the extension. They say the hard part comes now, but when I look at how hard it is to succeed in a rebuild in this league, when I think about the Sabres, who are on their third or fourth attempt, but the Ducks are moving into their second attempt now. I look at Chicago, whose rebuild has completely stalled out.
Mm.
And then,
Yzerman in Detroit, it's year 7 of the rebuild.
Yeah. I look at, and then there's knowing when to blow it up. Teams like Boston kind of holding on to the past a little too hard. Sorry to say it, but Seattle probably making some bad decisions in that area as well.
What? No.
Never. Ron Francis is a perfect angel. I forgot.
If only that were true.
But ultimately, I actually think the rebuild portion of it is quite hard. I do think getting the right value for the players you're moving on and signing the right deals when you're in that period of time so that you set yourself up for success down the road, valuing your assets properly, finding the right fit for the players you're building to build around them, bringing in the right people to be in the locker room at that time to drive success and to instill a winning culture. I think that's actually really hard. And I think
agree.
they got a little lucky with David Savard because he certainly brought that winning culture. I think they got a little lucky when they hired Martin St. Louis that he's turned out to be the coach he is, because they, remember, hired him out of a junior team, not like a major junior team. They hired him out of like a junior B team.
Yeah. That was everybody definitely looked pretty askance at that pick, and they got off to, I remember that the Habs got off to a fairly rough start last season.
Yes.
And there was quite a lot of chatter about, maybe MSL isn't working out. Maybe they need to go get a real coach. And then but they stuck with him through that rough patch, and he really turned it around. And they made the playoffs, and they overperformed the expectation.
I do think that criticism of Martin St. Louis' coaching last year was valid. He was getting out coached. He was not coaching players to perform at the level they needed to perform at. But he sat down and he figured it out. And I think there's something, a lot of times when you have a star player, like a legitimate star player in the NHL, they aren't good at explaining how to hockey to other players. And this was like when Wayne Gretzky ran the Coyotes. This was famously the problem. Gretzky can see the ice better than almost anybody ever, but he can't explain it. And Sid Crosby's talked about it a little bit, and it sounds like he's probably going to end up doing general management like Yzerman and like Sakic and other stars. partially because how do you explain how to play hockey like Sidney Crosby? It's not possible.
Mm-hmm.
St. Louis is different. St. Louis was always the type of player who, because of his size, he always had to think, always had to process that stuff independently and really work to maintain the edge of his game. Very quick trivia question, but do you know who the last player to win the Hart Trophy and the Stanley Cup in the same year was?
No.
Well, it's Martin St. Louis in 2004.
Oh, I guess I should have guessed that.
Should have guessed that
solely on the context of the conversation.
Context clues, right? But this is a smart guy. Educated. He actually has a degree.
In?
I don't know, something.
Because if you say kinesthesia or kinesthetics or whatever the fake...
Kinesiology?
Yeah, that's the one. The fake one.
I'm going to tell
the young woman... It's so fake, I don't even know what it's called.
I'm going to tell the young woman who works for me that you said her degree is fake.
I don't think she'll care.
No, I don't think she'll care either. Small business management.
Oh, well, okay. That sounds real.
Yeah, that sounds more real.
Yeah.
So I think that Martin St. Louis, unlike most other star players, I do think he's the kind of guy who thinks about his life, like thinks about the way he plays, thinks about how that works. I do think that it helps he's a little guy and he can help players like Caulfield and Hutson show them his tricks and how he skates and stuff. But I do think that from a perspective of how to coach in a game, he's the type of guy who can sit down, watch tape, see what's going wrong, and learn. Talk to other coaches, other people who've experienced it, and take their experience and add it to his own beliefs and thoughts. I really do think he's that kind of guy. And it's an accident. The Habs hired him. Like, I don't think they expected him to be the coach at this point. They hired him so there'd be a friendly face behind basically someone that the press would leave alone and he could laugh with and joke with, and it'd be a friendly face, and then they go get a real coach in a couple of years. But it turns out that maybe he is a real coach. And if they actually do well this year and make the playoffs and go like strongly, not just wild card, or God forbid they ever actually do win a Stanley Cup, I think it's going to be a very interesting story to be told how Martin St. Louis went from being the guy who was coaching his kids' junior B team to a Stanley Cup champion with none of the usual work in between. That we've had guys like John Cooper who've come from law, and Jared Bednar who worked his way up from the ECHL, and
Cooper worked his way up too. He won cups at every league he coached in.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you don't usually get that type of wunderkind go right to the top of the NHL, even established players who've done well. They usually are an assistant coach somewhere first.
It's just that actually made me think of Ted Lasso.
Oh.
Which is a comical television show.
Anyway, Martin St. Louis is cool. Hugo is cool. Lane Hutson is so cool. And I'm really excited to see what the Habs do next, because the young talent is still coming and they have the space and assets to make a real move and go get someone to really bolster what this team does next. And it's a very exciting time to be a Habs fan. Mm-hmm. I appreciate that I am a Habs fan and I am a little biased, but I do think they have the best vibes in the league right now.
Cool.
So at least another year before they start to go the other way. All right. You wanted to talk about takeaways from the first week of the season. So why don't you lead off?
Yeah. Just kind of, I haven't gotten to watch quite as much hockey as I would have liked this week. But I have caught a few games. Things that kind of jumped out at me, just mostly from listening to the podcast, is how down people are on the Sabres. They've had a rough start. and they've, the Josh Norris industry, Josh Norris injury.
The Josh Norris industry is making replacement shoulders for Josh Norris. He goes through 3 or 4 a year.
Oh, that poor man. I sometimes I wonder at what point does a player have to say, actually, maybe my body cannot handle my profession? And that would be such a tough mental thing to handle, to navigate that. I feel really bad for him. I do not feel bad for the Sabres, who made a god-awful trade for him. That was such a bad trade. Imagine Ottawa being on the winning side of a trade. We're in a new era of Ottawa Senators hockey. Unfortunately, stuck in the old era of Buffalo Sabres hockey. But they've also I don't think Zach Benson has played yet this year. I think he's injured. Is anybody healthy on that team? And at what point does Rasmus Dahlin go, I can't do this anymore?
I mean, Rasmus Dahlin, Tage Thompson. Okay, I've reached the list of notable players on the Sabres, but it's getting really bad. And to me,
Alex Tuch.
Yeah, Alex Tuch's a good player. I think his deal's up this year.
He is it is, but I don't think Alex Tuch goes anywhere because he's from Buffalo, and he wanted to go to Buffalo, and I think he's going to stick it out because he has personal reasons for sticking it out. But they've got some young players like Zach Benson, who's going to be really good. They've got, I guess, thank goodness they have Owen Power and Rasmus Dahlin locked up, because otherwise, yikes. Oh, yeah. Michael Kesselring, who they just traded for over the summer. They got him in the JJ Peterka deal, injured. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, injured. He's their starting goaltender.
Yep. Yeah, they're obviously not having a lot of injury luck to start the year.
Yeah. You think Jack Quinn's going to want to re-sign in this environment?
I mean, we're kind of at the point now where we're sort of where we were a while ago with the Sabres, but in reverse. A while ago, the Sabres were hitting on first-round picks and missing everywhere else. Now they've actually had some players come up from the lower rounds. But other than Jack Quinn, a lot of their first-round picks since Power, like even Power, people are not happy with him in Buffalo. He's not living up to the contract or the draft position. And it was a weird draft year, so I understand. But it does feel like Owen Power is becoming a very quick prove-it candidate.
Mm.
And if he doesn't prove it, does he move at that cost?
Well, he makes 8.35. He's 22. And he is a left shot defender. I think they can absolutely move him. I think that if they do move him, then that is an admission of utter failure in their ability to develop.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think that might be something they actually need to admit, because it's not getting any better. Let's put it that way.
Mm. Yeah, no, they're not exactly a team with a winning culture. So just to talk a little bit about other teams around the league, I know there was a lot of concern around the Florida Panthers with their injury situation going into the year. They've played 4 games. They've won 3. And I honestly think they've looked fine, if not great, out there. So I'm not concerned about the Panthers making it to the playoffs this year. That's one of them. I guess that's a takeaway. If you're really down on the Panthers and don't want them to see them win a third cup, then that might be a grim takeaway.
The only other team that has lost every game they've played so far is the Islanders. And I don't think the expectations are high for the Islanders, but I do not think I think they are higher than tied for the Sabres for last in the East.
Oh yeah, they should be better than they are. I do wonder if the Islanders, how long the Islanders have to lose, and I have not seen those games, so I don't know how they looked in those games. I can't tell you if it was just like they didn't get the bounces or if they went out there and they looked really grim. But I do wonder if like Darsh like pulls the trigger on Patrick Waugh, or like if he makes a big trade, or if he just rides out and says, "Hey, we'd love to win the lottery again."
Did you see Matt Schaefer's first goal?
I didn't. I heard it was controversial.
Well, it was a huge scramble in the paint, and about 3 Islanders players were chipping at it. He just comes flying in from the blue line at full speed and just kind of dives in there and just jams it through like someone said he looked like a bowling ball, and that made me laugh. But they counted it, so they all count.
Good for him.
I do think the Islanders are going to be moving in the right direction. They obviously get a little bit of a kickstart by winning the lottery. But
yeah, have I ever told you how much I freaking hate the draft lottery?
You've mentioned it.
I hate it so bad. I hate it so bad. Like, just like, it's not just when you lose the draft lottery, it stinks. It's like, it stinks when you really, when teams that are like below, like 10th from the bottom win, and they just bump everybody down. It just sucks. And it's like, buddy, you don't need this. I need this. My team sucks. I need this. Give me something. And it's like, no.
Maybe you'll get Gavin McKenna this year.
Well, if the Kraken keep winning games, we're not going to be in the McKenna sweepstakes.
No, that's fair. I think for the Islanders, I think they are a very bad team. And when I look at their cap sheet, I am constantly appalled by just how bad it is.
Let's see what they got.
Oh,
they've got, you know what? They've got Matt Barzal. Who's a great player. I like him. They've got Bo Horvat, good player. I like him. Anders Lee is old, but this is his last year on that contract. They can probably re-sign him for, $4 or $5 million, and honestly, that'd be fine.
Those aren't the ones I'm worried about. The Kyle Palmieri deal, I think, is probably a little too rich given his age and his skill. $4 million a year for Jonathan Drouin to not play with Nathan McKinnon is insane.
But those are only 2 years. It's only 2 years.
I know, but it's
short contracts.
The Pierre Engvall deal.
Yeah, it's not a good deal. It lasts forever, but at least it's only $3 million.
But go look at the defense.
Yeah, their defense is
Alexander Romanov, who couldn't hack it as a 60 in Montreal. Ryan Pulock and Adam Pelech, who are both pretty good players, but not that good. Scott Mayfield, who is signed for eternity. Like it's just rough.
I forgot Tony DeAngelo was on the Islanders.
Yeah.
But hey, they've got Matthew Schaefer.
They do.
He's gonna have to be the cornerstone of their defense.
Yes.
And they still got, and Sorokin is still a great goalie. I don't know how he's going to age, but goalies who do okay in their 30s tend to like stay okay in their 30s. So
yeah, I
probably fine.
I just think they're cluttered with a bunch of mid-level kind of players that.
Yeah, but here's the thing about like 2 or 3 year deals for guys who only cost like 2.5, 3 million. Those are very movable contracts.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if they're planning to be bad for a couple of years, they just hang on to them and let them play them out. And then they're bad and they draft good and then they're fine. They turn it around quickly. They don't have much to sell, but the fact that they earned a totally unjustified draft lottery win last year, I think gives them a real leg up. And I feel like everybody said they had a phenomenal draft this past summer.
I do think they are set up for success in the future. I just think this year the cap sheet's really ugly.
Yeah, maybe it is. I'm just not worried about them at all.
That's fair.
I don't know.
CBC is showing a tribute to Ken Dryden right now. And did we talk about Ken Dryden on the show already?
We did not.
I think I'm going to just, because we're, trying to fill time right now, really.
Are we? I thought we were having a great conversation.
We are having a great conversation.
How the team is, okay.
But I know it's the first week, and there's not I don't have anything more to add about the first week other than the Sens suck, and they're going to keep sucking without Brady. But yeah, Ken Dryden is one of the most interesting men who's ever played hockey. And I don't know how much you know about his story, and I'm just going to do the history thing that I do.
I read the first chapter of, what was it called? The game. And then I got super bored and I stopped reading it.
Well, in general, The Game is considered the best kind of book by an athlete of all time. Whether or not you liked it, that's just how it's considered. But I think
sometimes I have trouble with nonfiction.
It's fair. I mean, it's fair. I read a lot of nonfiction. I've read so much nonfiction for this show so far. But Dryden came over. He was at Cornell. The Habs got him in a steal. And when he became the starting goaltender for the Habs, it was the middle of the playoffs. He won the Conn Smythe and then won the Calder Trophy next year. He left the Habs for a year so he could finish his law degree. So he became a lawyer while he was playing professional hockey. Finished out the decade, became one of the winningest goaltenders of all time, one of the best goaltenders in terms of percentages of all time, and then left. He went to hockey. He was part of the Maple Leafs rebuild that brought them close to the Cup in the early 90s. He went into politics. He was the Minister of Sport, and he wrote another book that I think is equally as important as The Game, which was Game Change, about the death of Steve Montador. And for the rest of his life, he was one of the biggest voices pushing for change around CTE. He was just a guy who maybe he didn't play the full career he could have played if he wasn't going to school and didn't want to leave when he was in his early 30s. But he spent all of his life giving back to hockey and trying to make it better for the next guys to play. And I think that is really, really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. I've always respected the hell out of him, and he'll be deeply missed, I think, by the game.
Yeah.
There's not too many guys who are just pure trying to do the right thing always. So, a really cool guy.
Yeah. There is one other thing I did want to talk about for takeaways from the first week.
Sure, go ahead.
I don't know if you caught any of the Colorado Avalanche Dallas Stars game.
I did not.
Oh, you missed out.
I hear it was awesome.
It was so good. It was an absolutely phenomenal game. Both of those teams look awesome. Mm-hmm. I think the Avs have a real shot at the Cup this year. If they come out looking like they did in that game against the Stars, who are legitimately a great team, if they can do that the rest of this year and into the playoffs, like, they have a real shot at the Cup. But at the same time, they're going to have to go through the Stars, who also look phenomenal. I think that those two are the most exciting teams in the West this year. And yes, I do mean more exciting than the Golden Knights and the Oilers.
I personally think that the Golden Knights have interesting storylines. Like the Mariners storyline, I think is pretty interesting. And obviously, we're going to spend, if they do sign Carter Hart, we are going to spend some time talking about that. That's something else we should talk about. But from an on ice perspective, my God, the Avalanche look like a powerhouse. I did catch the Sabres Colorado game yesterday, and
absolutely not even fair.
They were toying with them at parts. So
yeah.
I think Brock Nelson needed some time to accumulate as the second line center. And I think that is powering that. Obviously, they have Landeskog back, who hasn't done a lot yet, but I think it's just like, just moral, the moral difference. They are a dangerous looking team.
They really are. Just incredible.
Yeah. So I obviously love the Avalanche, and I want nothing but the best for them. But if this is a Nathan McKinnon beast mode year and a Cale Makar beast mode year, I mean, that alone is going to get you 2/3 of the way there.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like both those guys are going to be absolutely lightning this year.
You mean Avalanche?
Yeah, that too.
The Lightning are in the East.
Yeah, that's my bit.
So now I have to pick. Who do you think is the first coach fired? Way too early predictions.
Way too early predictions. Let's go. Well, I think it is most likely to be Hiller in LA.
Mm-hmm.
For the West, and in the East, I'm going to go.
Oh, you're picking two.
Yeah, I'm going to go East and West.
Okay.
In the East, I am going to go. I'm going to go way out on a limb and say Berube.
Really? Berube?
Yeah.
Wow.
If the Leafs struggle this year, I think they need a scapegoat. And I would say they haven't looked good early. The only other one I think in the East who's really on the hot seat is Patrick Waugh. If the Sens really struggle, maybe Green, but I think they stick with them. I don't think you fire the one guy who can get you to the playoffs after they've tried so hard. So yeah, I don't know. I've sensed that the Leafs might be more in a wild card position this year, and if that's true, I think they might fire their coach.
I think Berube is safe. Although they did just blow a 2-goal lead to the Predators, who I think are going to be better than they were last year, but I don't think that they are a playoff team. But no, I think it's going to be Lindy Ruff.
Oh yeah. See, I just don't think they want to pay a second coach.
I think that there's a non-zero possibility that this is the year that Kevin Adams gets the axe.
I mean, if Kevin Adams gets fired, then I could see Lindy going. Mm-hmm. But my guess is Kevin Adams doesn't get fired until the end of the year.
Yeah. I mean, it's all up to the Terry Pagula, but it is ugly. It is ugly in Buffalo. And I think that either Kevin Adams cuts bait on Lindy Ruff in order to save himself, or they both go. And that's where I'm staking my bet.
I could see it. I do think it would take Pagula actually sitting there and deciding to do a full change in season. Mm-hmm. I can see it happening at the end of the year. I think Lindy Ruff's contract is up anyway. So.
Yeah, I mean.
I don't know. Like, what do you do in Buffalo? Mm-hmm. You have to bring in a competent GM. You have to bring in a coach who's good for development. You have to get rid of all these players that are supposed to be fixing it, and you have to start over. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I think you start with a competent GM and then you go from there. I don't know who that man is. I don't think it's Kekalainen.
Wow.
Who is?
Oh yeah, they brought
in the front act. They brought in Kekalainen.
I forgot.
Yeah. But we'll see.
I don't think it's Kekalainen. I do not know.
I mean, I can see them saying, hey, you're going to take it over for the rest of this year as an interim. And then maybe they decide to do a search. But I don't think that he's going to be the guy to fix it.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. If they fire everyone. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have a second guess since I took 2 guesses?
I also agree with Hiller in the West. Unless the Kings decide to suddenly but here's the thing, I don't necessarily think it's Hiller's fault. That CC Dumoulin pair. I don't know. Maybe it's Hiller's fault for allowing CC Dumoulin on the ice, letting them play together, giving them any minutes, not sitting them in the press box and saying, actually, I know that Ken Holland just gave you guys contracts, but absolutely not. You are not allowed on my ice. But woof. They look so grim.
Did you see the J Fresh post about it?
I did not. I am not on the Twitters.
I'm pulling it up from the Puck Soup Discord because that's where I saw it.
Okay. Can't believe you promoting other podcasts. Gross.
Deal.
Just joking.
It says, I'm starting to think that CC and Dumoulin might not have instant chemistry, and it's CC's time on ice isolated than not their time. So while without CC on ice, the goal share for the Kings was 63%. With CC and Dumoulin on the ice, it was 0%.
Ugh. Ugh.
The XGs was 62% without and 23 with.
Oh, God.
Shot share, 57%, both attempts and actual shot share without, 26% and 31% with. Absolutely.
They're just
absolutely catastrophic. I thought it was pretty funny when I said, CERN should be in town to study black hole when they're on the ice. But now I'm actually thinking that maybe they should, maybe this should be treated as a scientific oddity. But it shouldn't be acceptable for a GM in 2025 to not understand data. And it's very clear Ken Holland doesn't even want to try.
I honestly, I had a really good theory going that maybe, Cody Ceci just has something on Ken Holland. They keeps giving him work.
I mean, and Cody Ceci is the guy who blew up one of his friends in the backyard of his Ottawa house. So if he's got something on you, I mean.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, it's grim. Brent Clark looks good, though.
Yeah, Brent Clark looks... I think the Kings have a really, really nice-looking roster. It's missing a superstar, but I think it's a really nice-looking roster, and it is a shame what Ken Holland is doing to it.
Yeah.
CC and Dumoulin is a bonkers concept, and they should fire Ken Holland and buy both of them out.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, this is the Anze Kopitar's last year, and unless they do something, I don't know if he's going to enjoy it.
Jaden Schwartz just scored. I don't like it.
Yes. Yeah. Love him. Look at this nice card I have of him.
That's a nice card.
Thank you. Trevor gave it to me. Isn't he great? I love Trevor.
Yeah, Trevor's wonderful. Did Vince Dunn at least get an assist? He did. Excellent. Good for my fantasy pool.
Yeah, Vince Dunn looks incredible this year.
Oh, yeah, no, he's a great hockey player. I just hope he doesn't get hurt again because
yeah.
When he's I think he's one of the most underrated defenders in the league.
Oh, he absolutely is. He is and has been the engine of Seattle's offense, and unfortunately he's just been the only one, and it's tough to do it all on your own. We love him.
I agree that the Chandler Stevenson signing is not a good signing, but it could be worse. You could have CC and Dumoulin.
we used to have Dumoulin.
I know, you could have kept him and added Cody CC. I mean, it's definitely a worse way to spend $7 million than Chandler Stevenson.
Oh, so bad.
Oh, my goodness gracious. This has been a little bit of a rambling episode, folks. I apologize. It's mostly my fault. It's mostly my fault.
I like a low-key episode.
Yeah, me too. Just your buds, SJ and Benjamin, hanging out, talking about hockey.
Yeah, this is actually pretty much what our off-mic conversations are, too.
It's true. It's true. Anything else we want to talk about? I think we're at a reasonable length if we want to end it. I know you're editing this week.
Oh, wow.
So.
Are we really already at, 50 minutes? Jeez.
Yeah.
I had 2 more segments on the outline. We didn't even get to them.
No. Do a very quick baseball check-in.
Yeah, let's just do a little quick baseball corner. So I know I mentioned at the top of the show, I am a Good Times Only baseball fan, and I do not watch it on television. I find television baseball to be unbearable, but I like going to games. And I think the ballpark experience is a pretty chill and fun time. And the city of Seattle has never seen a World Series. And I think that as much as I would be sad for my Canadian friends if the Mariners beat the Jays, it would be so hype for Seattle as a city to make it to a World Series. Even if we get pasted by the Dodgers, boo the Dodgers, hate the Dodgers, that I really want to see it. And right now, the Mariners are up 2 in the series. They took both games in Toronto, which is I was absolutely not expecting it. That is tough. That is tough for Toronto. So now the series comes back to Seattle. I think we're going to be a couple of games. I think those games might actually be over by the time you guys hear this, and you'll know whether I am sad or not.
Well, the worst that happens is they go back to Toronto with it tied. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. You're not in a bad position.
That's true. That's true.
So my baseball team when I was growing up was the Expos, which means I kind of don't like the Blue Jays by definition.
Oh, that's fair.
Even though the Jays
moved to Washington, are they the Nationals now?
Yeah.
Man, I don't understand. Like I said, I don't follow baseball. I don't know what happened there, but I don't understand why Canada doesn't have a second or a third baseball team. Like, clearly Montreal, Vancouver make a ton of sense as markets.
I mean, when I watched Vladimir Guerrero when he was with the Expos, and I don't mean his kid who's with the Jays, so it's a little, but hey, whatever. I'm okay with it. So yeah, like I don't hate the Jays. Mm-hmm. I would be supporting them if the Mariners weren't in this, but I completely agree that the history of the Mariners making the World Series and kind of ending, because the Mariners were a bad baseball team for a historically long time.
They've been beset with bad ownership.
They didn't have a winning season for like 15 years when they started, and then they ended up with some of the best players of the 90s and Ken Griffey Jr. and Alex Rodriguez. Ichiro was more of the 2000s. But they ended up with some of these best players, and they could never make it work. Mm-hmm. And, like, Ken Griffey Jr. gets disrespected because he's the only big hitter of that era who wasn't on steroids. So, I don't know, just seeing the Mariners finally put it together and go to the World Series, and if they do go, I would be 100% cheering for them to win over the friggin' Dodgers.
Although not that series is decided. I am rooting for the Seattle Pilots. I mean, the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yes, exactly. Yes, the Seattle Pilots played 1 year at Six Stadium before moving to Milwaukee, and I learned that from Secret Base on YouTube. The History of the Seattle Mariners by John Boyce and Alex Rubinstein, and it is one of the best sports YouTube videos out there. John Boyce is second to none. I made SJ watch the new Scorigami videos, and I think it's fair to say you very much enjoyed them.
Yeah, I don't even go to the NFL, and I quite enjoyed the Scorigami videos.
The Scorigami video is fantastic. The Fix the Knicks video is incredible.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Oh, it's so good. Basically, it's based on this this unknown jazz singer-songwriter named Jimmy Dolan put out a song called Fix the Knicks. And it's about how anyone who throws a brick should be fired from the team. So he goes through every player from that moment on. And
based on that reaction, I assume the Habs just scored again.
Cole Caulfield, baby. Small goals, boy.
Yeah.
He's so small, but such goals. Yeah, so basically they go through, they try to put together, see what would happen if you got rid of every player and then just bring the next player on historically. And it's very funny, and the ending is wonderful.
I will check it out.
It's really good. The video about Independence Day is incredible.
Okay.
It is about the Secretary of Defense character from Independence Day and why he's such a sniveling little shit, and how good they do at making him into the antagonist in this film, and a lot of just love for character actor James Rebhorn, who played these sort of characters professionally for a very long time, and by all accounts was just a lovely man in real life. Wrote his own obituary and everything.
Wow,
like just a real one. The Banana Peels one is very good. The Bob's Crisis is very good. The Bob's Crisis is we have a surfeit of men named Bob playing sports now.
Oh, of course we do.
Yeah, so they make very good video. Oh, the mattresses one is really good. So anyway, the long and the short of it is John Boyce and Alex Rubinstein will never hear this, but if you guys do, understand that you do incredible work, and I am jealous.
There we go.
There you go. Anything else you want to talk about?
I think that you should stop making that clicking sound.
Oh, I'm sorry. I will explain this after. It's you probably just cut that little bit out. But
yeah, you were making that the entire time you were talking, though, so all of that's staying in.
Oh, you can keep the clicks in. That's fine. It's no less annoying than some of the other stuff that's come through. But
I did have the cat come up onto my desk while we were recording and like bump the mic, and I was like, "Oh, sweet goodness." Okay, cat.
All right. Are we done? Can I get us out of here?
Yeah, let's get out of here.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening to The Neutral Zone Hotel, which is written, hosted, and produced by the Neutral Zone Hotel crew. You can check us out at neutralzonehotel.com/Discord to join our Discord. We're on Bluesky and YouTube at Neutral Zone Hotel. Give us 5 stars, thumbs up, smash the like button, tell a friend, whatever it is you want to do. Always thank you to Emily Mowbray for designing our incredible logo. Folks, thank you so much for listening. We will catch you next week.